Hello guys, and welcome back to What If Deku Had the Seven Delusions Power Part 3. Let's get right into it. After Deku and Bakugo were staring at each other. Deku and Bakugo was staring at each other, and then they started. Bakugo run at Deku. Deku run at Bakugo with Lost Vein in his hands. He was about to throw an explosion. Bakugo threw an explosion. Deku dodged it, and Deku punched him right in the gut, making him spit out a little bit, and then Bakugo threw an explosion at Deku's face, point blank. Deku couldn't dodge it. So we got flying sent in the wall. Well, Deku stopped himself from going through. Make him stop. Then he was like, you got a little bit stronger, Bakugo, with your explosions. Bakugo was like, hey, you're underestimating me, Deku. That will be your downfall. Well, he put his hands together and shot a huge explosion until Deku said, full counter! Sending it back. Like, the explosion was bigger than before. Hitting Bakugo back, sending him through some walls behind him. Deku knew that he wants to get back to Uraraka because Eden might be a problem because he has fast speed. But Bakugo got back up and was like, using that trick. What is that? You really are making me pissed, Deku. Deku responded, I don't care. As long as it works against you, I'm fine with that. Bakugo was getting even more infuriated with every time Deku spoke back to him. Then overcome, but obviously in the spotting room, everyone was shocked of how strong Deku and Bakugo was. All Might was amazed that this kid had this kind of power, but also he was quirkless. He was very amazed by what Deku can do with that sword without even cutting anyone. Then Bakugo's gauntlet glowed, and he was like, "It's finally ready." Deku was confused by this, but then Bakugo said, "You already know how my quirk already works. I mean, my sweat is like nitroglycerin, and if I let it out of my hands, it comes out in an explosion. These gauntlets have been saving it up, and I will and it will go out like 4 times the explosion I can normally do." He pulled it back. Like then All Might overcomes. "Don't do it, Bakugo! Oh, it can hurt Midoriya. It can hurt young Midoriya." And then Bakugo was like, "Yeah, he'll be okay if he dodges it." Deku knew if he used full counter, it might do more damage to Bakugo than it would do for him. So basically, Deku did. The explosion hit Deku head on, sending a huge explosion backwards. It made the building shake, and it broke us. And then as soon as the smoke cleared, it showed Deku missing an arm. Everyone was shocked. Even All Might. Bakugo didn't stop. And Deku was standing there with no arm. Bakugo was shocked. Deku didn't even dodge it. He didn't even try to. But as soon as his arm was gone, suddenly smoke started clear all over him. His arm was back, and all his wounds were healed. Then Deku was like, "Bakugo, you haven't been paying attention. I said in middle school, every time you beat me up, I always come back fully healed, but you didn't listen to that. And that's why you never noticed this. Any damage that you do to me will be useless. So that means you can't really do much for me. So here's one thing that you should keep in mind, Bakugo. I am immortal." Everyone was shocked. Bakugo was shocked. The whole entire class was shocked. They all Might stuttered. "He's immortal?" They were all scared because if he was a villain, he will be unstoppable because he won't be able to die, and he can regenerate any injuries that he gets. Then Deku thought it was time to end this. So then he, with his fast running, he runs at Bakugo with remarkable speed and knocked him out with a karate chop at the neck, knocking out Bakugo out cold. He ran, he got up to the floor where Uraraka was. Then Ida didn't notice it. He was like, "Where is Bakugo, you hero?" And Deku said, "He is out cold. I knocked him out." Then Ida was getting his engine ready, but obviously Deku pulled out Bond's secret weapon and was like, "Snatch!" and basically threw out a pink energy thing, and he grabbed the bomb. He flung it back, so Deku caught it, and he was won. Ida was shocked that Deku had this sort of power because he's never seen Deku use it. But anyways, Ida was like, "You did a great job, Deku, Izuku. You very good." I was like, "I knew you can do it, Deku." And he was like, "Yeah." But Bakugo was taken to the nurse because he was out cold and he needs to rest. Then they went over what everyone said. Everyone was surprised about Midoriya's immortal thing. Then everyone asked one question, but everyone wanted an answer. "Deku, is your quirk immortality?" And Deku said, "It isn't. I don't have a quirk. This is just something." He didn't want to tell him about the 7 deadly sins, and because if he did, they might be in trouble. And he noticed that they would be even more in trouble if they knew, because the 10 Commandments were here. And if they were here, that means they could find out. They were trying to hurt everyone in UA, trying to make Deku angry and to release the 7 deadly sins. But obviously Deku didn't want that, so he didn't try and tell them. Then All Might said Ida did the best, and everyone was shocked because the heroes were actually still standing, and they were like, "But didn't the heroes win? Wouldn't they get the prize? Wouldn't they get the best thing?" As Suyu said, but then All Might said they wouldn't, and you know why? Momo put her hand up and said, "I will explain. Bakugo was too angry and also was very rational to Deku, and he was blinded by rage, so he went after Deku without any sort of plan. Deku was very smart, cloning himself and also sending clones after Bakugo to distract him, but in the battle, well, he did collateral damage to numerous rooms that could have had civilians inside of it, even though that was a practice, and Deku knew that. And also that explosion of a Bakugo let out, Deku knew that if he used his full counter, that it would do massive damage to the walls behind him, so he took it head on, even though that it might even hurt people inside the building. Uraraka made himself too vulnerable in the rooms, and also Ida made sure that she couldn't use anything in the room. So Ida was playing his role and also did very well, even though they failed in the end. Ida was very surprised. Ida was very graceful for that. Deku knew this and was like, "I had no other choice." And Deku said, "Well, yeah, if I used full counter, that would have been bad, but I didn't have much energy after I used full counter." And Deku was saying this because if you could have used full vanish. Then he said, "I could have used full vanish to make it disappear, but if I used that would have taken enough all my energy, and I won't be able to get the bomb. Then I have to face Ida's speed, and that would be remarkable." Well, and that's what Deku said. So then Deku was like, "I'm training up my energy, so then so I don't lose so much." Then Then all the fights went like normal, like Todoroki freezing the whole entire place. Deku was obviously not affected by this, but he was thinking to his mind. That guy's powerful with his ice powers, but I wonder what he's thinking about. Gunter, obviously, he said, you can invade his mind with my powers. So then, when Todoroki came back, he went into his mind and saw his past, seeing everything, and seeing why he's rejected his powers. And he's like, so he has ice and fire, but he rejects his fire because of his dad. Very interesting. After that, they all went home. The next day, Aizawa came into the room and said, I looked up all the footage from yesterday's fight. He went to Bakugo. Bakugo, even though that you lost, don't sulk like a baby because you lost. You can learn from this and grow as a person. And then he looked at Deku. Deku, that was a risky move that you didn't dodge that. Even though that you're immortal, well, if that was you in real life, would you stun there? Would you have took that? Even though that you're immortal, it's still impressive that you're still quirkless and have an immortal body. You might become a great hero, but remember, even if you have an immortal body, you should really train your defenses. And Deku said, yes, sir! Then Aizawa said, this will decide your futures, and everyone was like, is this another quirk symbol test? And he said, you have to pick a class representative. And everyone was like, oh, normal school stuff. In an anime, it went usually like normal. Well, everyone wants to be it. Ida suggested a voting test. Deku got 3 and Momo got 2. And obviously, Deku had to become great, and obviously with this timeline, Deku is a little bit more confident because he's been talking back to Bakugo more than usual, and actually has more confidence because he's been talking with the 7 Deadly Sins, but even stronger than All Might. At lunch, Tenya told Uraraka and Deku about his family and his brother and stuff, and then a breach came into the school. Deku thought it might be the 10 Commandments, but it wasn't. Everyone started running. Deku looked outside the window without even panicking because he wanted to see if the 10 Commandments are out there and he might have to get out quick. But it wasn't. It was news reporters. So then he used Gunter's special ability. Sending the message to everyone through their minds. And everyone was like, what is this? It feels like somebody's been talking to me saying that there's news reporters outside the window. Everyone looked outside the window, and it was just news reporters. Like, oh, so this random thing in my mind told me that. Everyone's like, okay, then they stopped. But then obviously calmed down. The police got the news reporters out there. At the end of the day, everyone was wondering who did that. They were talking about it, and Deku said, hey, listen up everyone. And later today, I saw the news reporters outside, so I used one of my new special abilities that I gained. I sent a mind thing through your mind, telling you what was outside. Everyone was surprised that Deku had this. Because it was like, how do you keep on getting new abilities? And he said, every time when I grow, there's some people in my mind, but I can't tell you who it is because it will put your lives in danger. Very dangerous. Because these people are more stronger than All Might. If they knew that you knew what I knew, they would actually kill you without a second thought. But they are more dangerous than anything. And everyone was shocked, thinking who it could be. So then, and they were like, okay, you don't have to tell us, but when we get to pro hero status and become stronger, will you tell us? And he said, after these 10 people are defeated, I'll tell you. He was talking about the 10 Commandments, and because they wanted all 7 Deadly Sins dead, even Meliodas. They were about to scold Deku about telling them about them, but then Deku didn't tell them about them. So then then the seven deadly sins were actually relieved by this, because if they told him, if Deku told them, there would have been a very bad thing. Deku went home, obviously, after that day. Then, the next day was rescue training. They were going to the USJ, and they went on a bus. But Deku's clothes, from hero training, were very wrecked, so he had to wear a school gym clothes. But obviously, he brought all his secret treasures. He brought Gideon, Bond's secret treasure, Lost Vein, and even the pillow. And in the bus, he was laying on his pillow on the back. And everyone was wondering, why is he carrying so much weapons? Sue spoke up. Hey Midoriya, why are you carrying so much weapons? And Deku said, these are the things that can bring out full powers. They all have different abilities, as you know. By yesterday. And then Bakugo was thinking, so he has multiple abilities. Even though that I will try to pass him. I won't let this workless nerd pass me. Then they made it to the USJ. And obviously 13 greeted them, the hero 13. She obviously told them about her quirk, Dark Hole, and what it was. Then Deku suddenly felt an presence. I felt ominous in the sky. I noticed the lights were flickering. Everyone noticed this. Then Merlin spoke in his mind. There's entities coming. And then Deku was like, what in his mind? Grabbed out Bond's secret treasure and got ready for battle. And I was always like, well, hold up, Midoriya, we're not finished explaining this. And he was like, there's people coming. And then I was always like, how can he sense that people are coming? Then the dark mist appeared right in the middle of the room. Aizawa noticed this and was like 13, get them out of here. And everyone was like, is this the start of the training? And then Aizawa said, this is not training. Those are real villains. Deku noticed this. He didn't know what to do, but then Bond spoke in his mind. I'm pretty sure there's more villains around the place, but I feel like you should get rid of all of them right in front of you. But before that, Kurogiri spoke right behind him and was about, and then Deku noticed a weak point. Even all the seven deadly sins noticed that, and were like if you attack that point, you can actually hurt him. But he was too late to attack. Bakugo and Kirishima attacked Kurogiri without even thinking, and they obviously did nothing to him. Kurogiri teleported everyone around, and Deku was teleported into a water area. Then a villain was coming after him until he used Bond's secret treasure and hit him downwards. It was a powerful hit. He got wrapped down in his tongue and was put on the board. But then obviously Mineta came as well. Mineta got in there well, but even more harsher. Sue climbed up and was like it seems like we got split up from the rest of the class. Deku noticed that and was like, yeah. I thought it was, and obviously they were locked down. There were the villains in the water, and Deku started to think, why are they not coming out of the water? Then he noticed. Then he told Sue and Mineta what he thought. They don't know what our quirks are, so they basically stay in the water. Then they were like, yeah. Sue was like, why do you think that? And he was like, listen, wouldn't they teleport us somewhere where we're weakest against? And then Sue was like, you're actually right. They want to teleport me to the fire zone because I'm great in water. Then Deku thought of something. Then it was Bond's secret treasure. Then Bond said, I think it's time to use my secret treasure's power. Then he said to Deku, use sacred treasure release. He said that. Then he closed his eyes. Bond told him that there was super concentration. So then he started. Then he grabbed Bond Secret. Then he let out. Then he started whacking the air with Bond Secret treasure, sending out loads of hits everywhere. He hit all the villains in the pond. But in the rocky area where Momo, Jiro and Kaminari were there, all the villains suddenly got attacked with a pink line, and they were actually stunned, and it was like, what was that? It kind of looked like Deku's beam from training, and it hit some villains, and over where I thought it was when someone was going to fight them, and it was like, huh? Kind of looks like Deku's his thing from training, but it doesn't matter. I need to keep focus and keep the students safe. When Deku was done, he opened his eyes, and that's where I'm going to leave it off. That was part 3 of If Deku Had the 7 Deadly Sins Power. If you like this, hit a like, and also subscribe if you want more. Or I'm going to keep on doing this. I love it. And I hope you enjoyed this. Carry you after game, signing out.